Hey, what is up guys? Welcome once again to the channel. It's always great to have you back, and in this specific video, I prepare a special lecture for you guys. It's actually content from my new course, the 7 Steps to Structure Your Learning. The course launched almost 2 weeks ago, so if you haven't heard about it, go and check it out. In the meantime, this video will explore the content from Scribd.com. So if you are not quite familiar with Scribd, make no worries, we're going to explain it in the video lecture. But essentially what we want to do is to first know which type of ebooks are present in Scribd.com platform. It's always very important for the engineer to know which type of content is available out there. Secondly, we will read and review the ebooks. Sometimes you will need to read some type of content which is of course not the best of all. And in the other hand, sometimes you will encounter great content for your needs. Finally, and I would say one of the most important parts will be to evaluate each type of content piece and to know which ebooks are actually worthwhile. And finally, guys, I just want to let you know that the course is based on Reactor Engineering. So if you're into that, that will be a great piece of content for you. But the main idea is to be able to use this methodology for any type of subject. So that will be it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the lecture and I'll see you in the course. And now, focusing our attention on why do we need Scribd.com for our content pod creation. Well, as stated before, you will get access to a lot of ebooks and more importantly, a lot of files uploaded by the users. Now, this is pretty straightforward, pretty similar to the ebook lecture that we already held, with of course the constraint of having to pay the monthly subscription. But believe me guys, it's well worth it. Personally, I have been using Scribd since maybe 5 years already. And probably you are wondering why. Well, I get a lot of educational content, as stated before, the ebooks, the audiobooks, and a lot of files from other professors, from other students all around the world for a very cheap subscription. In contrast, if you were to buy the book, you will need to invest something around $80 or so. So yeah, definitely worth checking out the subscription. Now, let's actually go and search out for the Scribd ebooks that are going to be of use for us. And let's get started with step number 4, make a content pod. And the very first thing that I want to do is to add a Scribd ebook card. Now inside, what I'm going to be doing is first trying to verify whether or not there are actual ebooks and if they're actually worth it. And if we start finding that there's a lot of content, then we can subdivide. But for now, just a simple checklist will do. Let's get started and search for Reactor Engineering. So here we go, the first ebooks. Chemical engineering, process control. Let's just open those. Chemical process equipment, fermentation and biochemical could be helpful. Fluid catalytic cracking, renewable, computational reaction engineering. That sounds actually very promising. Industrial chemical processes, reaction kinetics, okay, bioreactor design fundamentals, crystallization, chemical engineering overall, bioprocess engineering, applied industrial catalysis, offshore rules of thumb. Well, we could encounter some for reactor engineering. Let's click view more. Polymer, Fortran, chemical process design, fixed bed reactions, fundamentals of chemical reaction engineering sounds cool. Actually, I already have it saved. And okay, what else? Reactor and process design in sustainable technology. Okay, page number 2, reactor operation, sounds great. Chernobyl, oxidation, nuclear reactor. Optimal design of chemical reactors. Chemical project scale-ups. So here we go, page number 3. Handbook. And as I can see, each time I scroll down, you get more non-related topics. So I think we are almost done with our search. Well, not with this specific search, but reactor design. Let's search for that. Ebooks. Later on, we're going to search for documents. So we got Reactor Engineering, which we already have open. All this we have already open. Elementary chemical reactor design. I'm pretty sure this was the very first one. Either way, let's open it. There's a lot of nuclear stuff because reactor is associated to nuclear, unfortunately. Doesn't seem to be more of a helpful keyword. Let's go for chemical reaction. Kinetics. Chemical kinetics and reaction dynamics could be, although this sounds much more towards chemistry overall, but let's see if there's something on reactor. Okay, so I think we are done with the keywords. What I want to do next is, of course, take advantage of all the authors that we already know from the library. Those are old school books, so definitely we should get more information on that. Tarman. Okay, the engineer. Oh, but this is a document guide. Remember that we are looking just for ebooks right now. Okay, so let's go for Tarman catalytic reactor design. Nope. Let's go for Rosé chemical reactor design practice. Okay, so we are getting exactly the same books. This is a great idea later on, but for the search of documents. So in this specific case, for all the articles and specifically documents, which are PDF files, documents, you may encounter much more valuable content there. What I wanted to do is, of course, to get actual ebooks directly from Scribd because they are the more legitimate source of content. So let's get started. We have several ebooks right here. Chemical engineering design principles. Okay, so I'm going to start adding all these ebooks to the right. Actually, I'm just going to include this. There are going to be two separations. Left is going to be all awesome content, center of content that is actually towards reactor engineering, and the third one, not that into chemical reaction. Process control, definitely not towards reactor engineering. Chemical process equipment, once again, not towards chemical reaction. Fermentation, it's relatively okay. Reaction engineering, a must, beautiful. Industrial chemical process and design, once again, not that much. Reaction kinetics, this stays. Bioreactor design fundamentals may go here. Chemical engineering design definitely goes here. Rules of thumbs, not that much. Fundamentals of chemical reaction, okay, stays. Reactor and process design stays. Reactor operation stays. Optimal design of chemical reactor design stays. Elementary chemical reactor analysis. Actually, I think we may have this. Oh no, they're similar but not the same. This one goes here. Kinetics of chemical processes. Okay, so here we go. All these ebooks are great of content apparently. These are relatively related. And finally, these are not that related, but I'm going to add all of them. So first things first, I want to save them to my Scribd account, just for the sake of having in the platform. So whenever I think about ebooks, I do have them right here. Save for later. And then what I want to do is, of course, get started with the Scribd ebook card. So I'm going to be adding this main reactor topic and then reaction engineering, and finally other. So here we go, number one. And as stated before, we don't need to verify the content, guys. We're going to do that in the following section. One of the things I need to remark on Scribd is that a lot of times you will get the same books regardless of what type of keywords you're looking for. As you could see, the books were repeating a lot. And this is specifically because there are not so many books in the ebook platform. They do have a lot of books in the document section and downloadable section, but as the actual, let's say, equivalent to Kindle, they do not have that much. So ensure to not lose that much time searching for other books, because the probability of you finding them is not likely. Keywords in Scribd work very well. So if you're looking for reaction engineering, reaction design or so, you're going to encounter it maybe in the second or third page on the search. So here we go. We have our Scribd ebook with 3 main sections. Now let's work with Scribd ebooks. Remember that we already copied the card from the content pot, so we are free to modify all of this without any problem of us removing or not being able to get back our work. So first things first, if you remember before, we did a pre-filter, which is right here, main Reactor topics. These are the ebooks. Then we got something towards reaction engineering, and finally other types of books that may be helpful but are not quite within our scope. So what I'm going to be doing is first, of course, analyze these books. If these books are not good enough, I'm going to pass to the second and third sections right here. But since I already know, guys, because remember that at this point we already consumed the topics, or we already consumed the books and the materials and content, you should be able to have a grasp or understanding of which type of books you are going to actually be focusing your attention and which other books are not going to be quite worth. So let's check out this book, Reaction Engineering, and I checked this, so I'm going to be presenting all the table contents of the books. And as you can see here, I really like this, especially chapter 3, which is essentially the tank reactor. We also have semi-batch reactor. And what I like of this book is that it goes by order. And not only that, we're talking about the continuous stir tank reactor, the CSTR. We have the molar balance. We have the typical conversion and sizing. We have series and parallel. We have multiple reactions. We have what happens with semi-batch operations, and more importantly, this all here is all this here is isothermal, but this part is non-isothermal. I really like it because they have some work solutions to the problems that they propose. So what I want to do is to fill up this part right here. So first things first, I'm going to be adding a small link right here. So just for the sake of having the link, 1, 2, and I will be fast forwarding this part right here. Essentially what I want to do is to get all the links of the books that I'm going to be checking out. Okay, so we have our list with the main books and with their links, so that will be great. Now I'm going to be evaluating the isothermal content, if there are all the reactors that we are focused towards, and of course if they have proposed exercises or problems. Then eventually the final quality, and of course the final scoring. So let's get started. So this one right here, I really like it because it has some good fundamentals. We talk about reaction kinetics, but right away we go to the reactor. So we have the tank reactor, and I really love that they have the structure of the molar balances. Then we talk about more of volume, sizing, then parallel and series operation. Not only that, this was all in a single reaction, but eventually we go to multiple reactions. The idea of yield, selectivity, that's great, and multiple reactions, of course. Then not only that, we are going to be working with time, such as semi-batch reactor. And finally, remember that all this operation is isothermal. You may want to add non-isothermal design if you want to check out a little bit on the details. Remember that the main scope does not include this part right here. And the same is true for the PFR, or famously known as tubular reactor. We have also residence time distributions, which I think may or not be within our scope. Then heterogeneous reaction, remember, is not part of our main scope. So right away, content and reactions all the way up. Exercises is not that much, and quality, I would say it's a 7. So definitely we can keep this book. Now this one right here, Reaction Kinetics for Chemical Engineers, the Butterworth series in Chemical Engineering. So these are the topics. Now I really love, and I would really like to remark that we are studying actually homogeneous isothermal reactions. Homogeneous in the sense that we are using fluids, either liquid-liquid or liquid-gas or gas-gas operations. I really like the fundamentals, that's great. Adiabatic operation, we have the reactors, continuous stir tank reactor. Then we got homogeneous flow reactor, which is the plug flow if you want to call it. A little bit on uncatalyzed heterogeneous reactions, which honestly is not within our scope. I already checked this material and no, I don't want to include this. And fixed bed reactors, that will be okay. Overall, I will say this is a good fit. So with respect to content, isothermal design is 3. Reactors, I will say 2.5. And exercises, that will be a 1. Quality, yeah, it's okay, but it could be better. So, and remember that we need to add the criteria. So yes, we are going to be discarding this book, just for you to keep that in mind. So here we are with chemical engineering design. And to be honest, I don't know why I chose this book, because honestly, there's not much of content towards reactor engineering. There is, of course, more the focus towards chemical operation, or mostly design and implementation. So materials, design information, data. There's nothing that goes straightforward towards reactors. So maybe you can see here reactors 10.13. And I already checked this material, and definitely it's not towards the, let's say, the approach that we want to go for. So this will be 0 in isothermal design, 0 in reactors, 0. And even though whatever the quality it may be, it's not going to go to make it. Now we are in the fundamentals of chemical reaction engineering. So first thing first, what I really liked about this book is that they have a lot of kinetics, a lot of reaction rates, which is definitely important for the reactors. But I really think that they go mostly towards the chemistry, not that much the engineering parts right here. So we do have non-ideal flows and so on, chemical equilibrium, a lot of effects that affect the chemical reaction rates or chemical kinetics. So definitely this is not within our scope. So there's not much thermal design, there's not reactors at all, and exercises, of course, are not within scope. Quality is actually a great book, but specifically for our needs, isothermal design is not a good book. Then we continue with elementary chemical reactor analysis, Butterworth series. And yes, actually, I really like this book. This is one of the books that I will strongly recommend because they start with a very logical approach. What is chemical reactor analysis, then stoichiometry, thermochemistry, and chemical equilibrium. Like they are actually going back to review the contents. Then reaction rates, which I really think is within our scope. And then a little bit on reaction time. But the important part right here will be section 7, which is the continuous stir tank reactor, adiabatic reactor, the tubular reactor, and the batch reactor. So overall, I would say that they do have isothermal content, they do have reactors, and exercises not that much. Quality is okay, so yes, we're going to be keeping that book. Reactor and process design in sustainability. Reactor and process design in sustainable energy technologies. So guys, I still don't remember quite well why I added this book. I thought it was a very good book towards reactor engineering, but actually it is way much more towards sustainable energy rather than chemical reactors. So as you can see here, this is mostly configurations for biofuel reactors, bioreactors, designer flow, PD, alloy membranes, so not within our scope. So because of this, there's no reactors, non-isothermal design, and no exercises. Although the quality is still okay, you can imagine that we're not going to be keeping that book. And Guys, I need to be honest with you. I thought that this was a actual reactor operation of chemical reactors, but this is actually a nuclear reactor operation. So we have reactor physics, we have 3 nuclear reactors and so on. So no, definitely not what we're looking for. No exercises and quality. I didn't even read it, so I cannot state a number. So one important part is, of course, be able to understand that this book is not even worth checking out because this is towards nuclear energy. The optimal design of chemical reactor, a study in dynamic programming. So originally I thought that this was going to be more towards automation or controlling maybe PLCs, how they interact and all this. But nope, it is not towards the operation itself. It's much more towards the understanding of the discrete operations, the continuous operations, and dynamic programming. So nope, this is not going to be a good book for us. But although this is a good book, and I am adding a number 8 because it's a great book in content, it's not within our scope. Kinetics of Chemical Processes, Butterworth Heinemann series in chemical engineering. So here we go. We got a little bit on introduction, the classical rate of reaction stuff, the reactors. So I really like it. They go straight forward to the reactors. We got a little bit on chemical kinetics, elementary steps, steady states. So you can imagine this is a little bit more towards kinetics. Then simplify kinetics. This is a very important thing whenever you are doing some reactor design. Coupled sequences, autocatalysis. So as you can see, this quickly goes towards kinetics alone. So yeah, you may encounter maybe some isothermal stuff, but truly guys, this is a great book, but not for our needs. So as you can see, we are not going to be keeping this book. And that's it guys. It's time to check out which type of ebooks we are going to be keeping. As you can see, we are going to be keeping only 2 books. The first one right here and the one on elementary reactions. So let me get rid of all these 3 guys. And truly, I forgot to add notes, but great intro book for reactors and isothermal and non-isothermal design. And for the second one right here, great book for intro to. I really like it that it's pretty simplified. So yes, we are going to be keeping these 2 books. And now guys that we know that we are going to be keeping these 2 books, it's time to rearrange or restructure our Trello board. So elementary is right here. So what I want to do is actually move all these books that I thought, remember that when I was making the content pot, I thought that these books were actually towards reactor engineering, and oh surprise, it was not. So as you can see guys, we are going to be keeping only 2 ebooks right here compared to the other books that we have here, the physical books and of course the ebooks right here. I think we are doing great. We have already 1, 2 books right here, and then we got another 2 ebooks right here. So a total of 4 ebooks which are different. I really think it's great overall.